Just wanted to show you the procedure for removing one of these buttons. I've got them all out except for this last one. You have a button nut wrench that you can usually get for a couple of bucks, sometimes cheaper when you buy a set of joysticks or buttons from Tornado Terry's or some of the other online dealers on eBay. Doesn't cost but a few dollars, and it saves you a whole lot of time. It's got a little smaller size on one end, a little larger on the other. That's the size I always use. And I guess there's some other buttons that take a little smaller, you know. But you just place it on the button, goes over and onto the plastic nut, and you give it a twist. Usually take one hand, put it around the front of the control panel, and put a little pressure down on the button to keep it from moving, and give it a little twist and pop it loose. Usually they'll be torqued down so they might pop loose. And just turn it a few turns, and these buttons aren't very long, so just a few turns, and that should be just about off. There it is. You just lean the button off, take it off, pop your button out the top, and you got it. That's all there is to this process. Just repeat it for every other button. Okay, we have the control panel off. I cleaned up the inside pretty good. Got all the dust out and everything. That was bugging me pretty bad. Got the brackets taken off from the side where the clips are, and got the bracket off the middle that supports the control panel when you've got it lifted up. Got all the screws taken out. That's your ground strap. It comes up and connects to one of the bolts that stick down through the control panel with this wing nut. And we got all the buttons out. Here's the control panel itself. We've removed it. All of these screw studs are ready to just pop right through the top of the control panel. And let me lift it up here. Here's the control panel itself, and the only thing holding it on right now is just where the screw studs go through the wooden part of the control panel. And I'll show you right now. I'll pull this loose and we'll get this separated. Just lay it down on the floor here, it'll be a little easier. If you set it down on the floor, the studs are actually touching, and you can just give a little help pushing, and it should pop straight through. Maybe it needs a little more help. Let me set the camera down just for a second to get it started. Okay. You can see the posts are starting to pop through, and it's separating. I don't know if you've ever got a view of these, but that's what it is. It's like a sheet of metal with the artwork on top. It's very durable artwork too. I've seen these things look incredibly nasty, like on my Mortal Kombat 2, and take the plexiglass off and think it'll never clean up. And I mean, you can really wipe these things, and they're so durable. You clean just about anything like cola off of them, and they look like new again, just about it. But you just give it a little more pressure, and this should pop right off. You see the wood underneath. Let me pull up on it a little more. It's not easy to do with one hand. Hold on a second. There you go. Now, as you can see, we got them both separated, and the dust washers fell out when I did that. They sit in these recesses right here, and they just kind of float around in there and keep dust from going on down in there, or, you know, if there's a little spill coat or something, it might help. Just kind of closes up that opening so the joystick shaft can move around and have something to keep dirt and stuff from falling in there. And you can see by how dirty that one looks, it was probably doing its job. And the underside of it is just like a plain metallic. It's probably aluminum. And the top of the control panel, let's drop it. Just a piece of plywood. and there's your anchors that hold the bolts that will mount your joysticks. They're threaded anchors, and the screws go up inside those from the underside, underneath this, and put tension on your joysticks, hold your joysticks in. Okay, just showing you the differences in the dust washers. Here's the new HAPP Competition joystick dust washer, and here is the one from the other controller that came out, the other joystick, and the diameter is a little larger here than it is here. If I take these, hold on just a second. One-handed stuff is difficult. Anyway, you can see you slide the dust washer up that came with the HAPP. Fits all the way up to there. If you try the same thing with this other one, you can get it to go over the shaft, and that's as far as it'll go. Won't go any farther. And you can't get the joystick all the way down in there if you try to use these, so I had to take the entire control panel apart to do this, or the joysticks would have never been able to be installed with these dust washers in place. With HAPP controls like the competition joysticks, I'll send you these exploded views showing you all the different parts that make up the joystick. And on this side it shows you like the base and the spring and the switches, all the different parts that go together and make the base. Well, they send it to you assembled already, so you don't have to do any of this on this side. But of course on this side, to get the controller in position and all, you have the joystick, shaft, dust washer, and all that kind of stuff, actuator and all. It's all stuff that you have to put together once you get the joystick ready to install, and you mount the base in and everything like that. You have to install the joystick and the shaft all down from the top of the control panel. At least the way these go in on these control panels, that's the way you do it. But I wanted to show you that. Right now we have to take these dust washers right here, and we have to go ahead and put them in position like I have that one right there, because when we sandwich this artwork back on top, that needs to be there, and you have to be real careful to go ahead and get the artwork on and get it bolted down without these dust washers moving around too much. They could slip back behind the artwork and have to take it apart and kind of start the process again. But once those dust washers are in each one of these positions here, I have to open the other joystick to get the other one out and put it in there. Then we can put the artwork back on top, put the taps on the back of the screw posts that come off the artwork panel, and tighten it down, and then we can actually set the control panel back in place and start putting the joysticks in, and put the buttons back in and everything. Just wanted to tell you a quick note before we go putting this together. On these dust washers, they have two sides. This side, if you can see at the very edge, there's like a lip there, and on the other side it's like perfectly flat all the way across. When I put them on, I put the flat side down against the wood, and it lets it slide around when the joystick's moving pretty freely, I feel like. And this cup part right here, in my opinion, would help keep any kind of a spill that might go down into where this dust shield is. It will help kind of keep it on top of the dust shield and keep it from going down in there and getting on the inside, at least between your control panel artwork and the wood as much. It seems like it could still go down where the shaft is, right through the center, because there's no kind of a lip there. But since there's a lip on the side, I feel like it doesn't do anything to turn it upside down and place it down. To me, it seems like it should go that way, and it doesn't show on the diagram which side goes up, but that's the way I do it. So I just wanted to mention that before we put it all together.